Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Jay. Um, I almost didn't unmute my mic there. That wouldn't be a good start for the technology guy. I couldn't figure that out. So good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here today to talk about a topic that I'm extremely passionate about. Um, Jay, I was thinking if this goes well, next time perhaps you could invite me down in person, because I just checked the weather. It's going to be 80 degrees there on Friday. Here, this isn't sunlight. This is snow out my window. Just got done shoveling about a foot of snow up here in Boston. So unfortunately, AI can't help with that. But yeah, this is a topic I'm really passionate about. Looking forward to speaking with you all today, and I'm going to get a little bit nuts with it, and we'll try to do like a live demo as well. Something that is always fun, maybe a little risky, but I think it's worth it. So, as an emerging technology expert, this is one of my favorite quotes. The next big thing will start out looking like a toy. This is by renowned engineer and investor Chris Dixon. So, what Chris is explaining here is that the reason why the big new disruptive technologies, the reason why they sneak by the existing players, is that they're often dismissed as just toys. So why is emerging technology so often dismissed? It's in my opinion that it's a combination of reasons. The first being, when new technology comes out, it seems to just barely undershoot people's needs. So, people say like, oh, this is cute, but I don't know if it'll actually impact my business. It's interesting, but if it's not going to, help me sell homes today, then, it's worthless and can be very dismissive of it. Perfect example of this is up here on the screen is a telegraph, like that used to be Western Union's primary business. Back in 1886, they had the opportunity to buy all of the telephone patents from Alexander Graham Bell, 1886. And that would only have been like about $100,000. The problem was at that time, it was still new technology. The phone networks hadn't really been built out. It only worked for a few miles at a time. So Western Union said, well, my customers are railroads, and I need this thing to work cross country. It only works a few miles. No, not for me. I'm going to pass. So they missed out on like one of maybe the greatest investment opportunities of all time, because they failed to anticipate how quickly technology can advance, and they failed to anticipate how quickly technology can be adopted. So, and there's dozens of examples of this over history, right? When BlackBerry saw iPhone's touchscreen and they said no. Telecoms saw Skype and they said no, that'll never be adopted. So the reason why I'm telling you all this today is, if you looked at just at how some of these tools that I'm going to be showing you today function today, it might be possible to dismiss them as, this won't really have an impact on my business. But I urge you not to do that, because I feel like these technologies I'm about to show are at the doorsteps of our industry and will have an actual financial impact on your brokerages. So. And those two topics are, it's artificial intelligence. I'm going to be talking about generative AI. And I'm also, I don't think I could do an AI talk these days without mentioning ChatGPT, considering how much it's exploded in the past few weeks. And yes, I'm going to try to do a live demo of ChatGPT for this audience as well. So Jay, thanks for that nice introduction. For those of you who I haven't met, again, my name is David Conroy, Director of Emerging Tech at NAR. I've been a lifelong technologist. My wife loves when I have these presentations, because then I've got a group of people I can talk to about real estate tech other than her. I've been in real estate now, actually it's 14 years now. I need to update this slide. But about me, I'm a perpetual early adopter. I love to experiment with new tech. And most importantly, and what I get paid for, is to test the viability of these new technologies as they enter industries like ours. Here's a quick example of me being an early adopter. This is 2013. This is me mining Bitcoin at my desk. I chose this example today because if you look at this picture, a few times a week, people were coming into my office and being like, hey, what's that toy on your desk? So while the verdict may still be out on cryptos, some people still think it's a toy, or if crypto is ever going to have an impact on industries like ours. But without question, it's one of the more disruptive technologies over the past 10 years that, again, even today, people dismiss it as toys. So What can we expect from my talk today? I'll be discussing two of the most impactful emerging technologies that I have on my radar. Um, as a rule of thumb, I'm normally tracking to say 10 to 12 different emerging techs, whether it's blockchain, AI, 5G, drones, sustainable energy, ransomware security. The two that I'm showing you today, I believe, are leaps and bounds ahead of all of the others when it comes to how quickly and how large they'll impact real estate. We're going to do I'm going to show you some examples of how it can be used in real estate, and then, like I promised, we'll do a live demo. So before we get into like the real estate specific examples and the live demo, I kind of want to set a baseline here in case there are folks out there who haven't heard the term generative AI or might not yet have seen what it's capable of. So what generative AI is, it's just a type of artificial intelligence that uses what's called deep learning techniques to generate new and original content. That content could be anything. It could be images, text, audio, or video. Essentially, you feed a prompt into these AI engines and you get back a new and original piece of work. So the two technologies I'll be demoing today, the first is called DALL-E 2, and the second is ChatGPT, and they're both created by the same company, OpenAI. So what the difference between the two technologies I'm going to show you today is DALL-E 2, that specializes in generating images from text. So it can understand a written description and it can produce from scratch a corresponding image that matches what you asked for. I'll show you some examples of that in a second. ChatGPT, on the other hand, is designed for conversations. So it can understand and respond to the human language in a conversational manner. ChatGPT, it's really mind-blowing. If you haven't seen it, I'm excited to be the first one to show it to you today. It can help with a wide range of tasks, such as answering questions, providing information, translating languages, even generating code or creative writing. Let's look at a couple examples of how this thing works. So we'll start with the image generation. So the following are actual text prompts that I've provided to these services, and then the photos that I display here were created in seconds by artificial intelligence with no human interaction at all. So we'll start with a simple kind of plain one here. A transparent sculpture of a duck made out of glass. So I feed that into DALL-E 2, and it brings me back this image. Incredibly realistic. What kind of blows me away about this example, though, is that I didn't mention anything about this painting behind it, but it was smart enough to know that since I asked for it to be transparent, it had to put something behind it to prove to me, the subject, that it actually is transparent. Let's look at another one. A cute corgi that lives in a house made out of sushi. So I realize how absurd this might seem, but it's pretty incredible that images like this are being generated in seconds. Like, imagine trying to set up a photo shoot like this with a dog in an actual sushi house. That sushi would be gone in seconds. But now, hopefully, my introductory quote is starting to make sense. Just because it looks like a toy, please don't dismiss it. We'll do one more fun one. We'll ask for teddy bears swimming at the Olympics. Not only just a teddy bear at the Olympics, but also make sure that they're doing the 400-meter butterfly. Let's see what we get back from that. So this looks incredibly realistic to me. It even looks like they've got the correct swim stroke. Interesting thing here is it looks like there's a water drop on the screen. It makes me wonder if all of the images that this was trained on from the Olympics, if one of those had like a drop of water on the screen and it somehow ended up into this image. So at this point, as a real estate professional, you've got to be thinking, like, what the heck does this mean for my business? How could I ever use a tool like this, to help sell a house or to win a client? Like, what is a teddy bear going to do for me? Well, let me show you. So this type of image modification, it will. I almost said it will be used in real estate. It's already being used in real estate would be the correct way to say it. And there's three ways where we're seeing it today. So the first is renovation previews, and I've got examples for all of these. The second is listing photo modifications, something that I'm sure you're already doing to minor extents. And then finally, stock photo generation. Let's look at these real estate specific examples. So what's cool is about these new AI models is not only can they create images from scratch, but they can also edit images, which is where I think the implications for real estate come in. So here is a photo that was taken from a Matterport scan. It's of a property that's obviously still being renovated, right? There's appliances in the middle of the floor. The walls aren't painted. Well, say we wanted to say if we wanted help or assistance in picturing what this property could look like post renovation. So we can upload an image into DALL-E 2, and instead of giving it a prompt, we can ask it to do specific things up to the photo. So in this example, I'm going to instruct DALL-E 2 to remove everything in the room, to paint the walls white, add a modern kitchen in the back of the frame, and make sure the kitchen has blue cabinets. So with that instruction, it returns dozens of variations of what I've requested. Imagine what this could do for the renovation process if you could literally generate thousands of designs for a kitchen in seconds, faster than I could even open up Photoshop on my MacBook. Here's another one. So I'm from Massachusetts, again, covered in snow. But here is the Cape Cod house. It looks beautiful, nice sized backyard with a sand pit. But imagine, your clients didn't have kids, or, weren't interested in having a sand pit, or, maybe the seller is saying like, oh, let's remove the sand pit to attract more of a broad audience. Well, instead of sending the photographer back out there to have to retake the photos after it's done, you can just simply ask the AI to remove the sand pit. It's smart enough to know what a sand pit is, how to remove it, and how to replace the background with something it's context aware, so it's able to just fill in the grass as if it was never there. Again, no Photoshop. Now, say your client was someone like me, who I've got no interest in a sand pit, but what I would love to do is entertain above a brick patio back there, maybe a fire pit. Well, it's really simple. You can start daisy chaining these commands together, and you can tell the AI, hey, okay, remove the sandbox, but now add a fire pit instead, and make sure the fire pit is surrounded by a brick patio, like stringing these together. And you can get the general idea of what something like that could look like without ever having to call a contractor. And you could just keep hitting refresh on this till you found something that was close to what you wanted. And then at that point, you could go out and get a professional quote. So no Photoshop, no human interaction, just a simple sentence, and you've got what you're looking for. The way I sell this is what you say is what you get. And the crazy part about all this is the cost. It's like a penny an image, maybe sometimes even less. So another quick example, you could say remove the fire pit and add a pool. No, it's not perfect, but it can still give you an idea of what something could look like. And finally, for the image modification part of this talk, I'd like to talk about stock photos. This can be a high cost and high liability area for realtors. I don't know if you've ever purchased any of these from like a Getty or one of these stock photo sites. It's incredibly expensive, like $500 a photo. And I'm hoping that you haven't, but if you've ever used one of those out of license, they are relentless when it comes to cease and desist letters and issuing fines and threatening people with lawsuits. And these could be thousands of dollars, like each time you used one of these out of license. It could be a real headache. Well, this is another area where generative AI can help you. You can provide a description of what you're looking for in a stock photo, and what you get back is a license-free image. So again, this can make it safer and cheaper for you. So here's an example of me generating some stock photos. I seem obsessed with the Cape right now. That's because I just want winter to be over with. But let's say I'm a realtor on the Cape, and I want some photos for my marketing material or a blog post or my website, but I don't want to pay the high fees of a stock photo website. I can just have AI generate one for me for like a penny. So I give the prompt, like I say, cape house, 2 or 3 stories, moderately steep roof, central chimney, very little ornamentation. And here we go. Here's 4 examples of cape homes. All of these are artificially generated. These aren't real homes. No one owns these. No photographer owns a license to them. No one can sue you for using them because images that are generated by AI are not copyrightable. So this should be an incredible resource for anyone who needs stock photos in real estate regularly, or even if you just need a few of them, hundreds of dollars in savings. So, so at this point, I'd like to switch gears to ChatGPT. So again, I've been talking about 2 different products. There's DALL-E 2, which does the image modification. But again, I think when Jay and I first talked about this opportunity like 2 months ago, ChatGPT hadn't quite exploded yet. But I feel like it's my responsibility, or that I'd be doing a disservice to this audience if I didn't provide an update on this, considering how similar it is, and even created by the same company as the image modifications. And again, also could have a major impact on your business. So again, ChatGPT is AI, but for conversations. To me, the way I describe it is like, imagine having like an incredibly intelligent assistant who can understand and respond to your messages just like a person would. And that person is trained on a vast amount of information and does a surprisingly great job with most real estate questions. I'm sure you've all used chatbots in the past, like say your Xfinity or Comcast, or say you're trying to get some information from a bank, and you use those chatbots online instead of calling. And I don't know about you, but at least in my experience, that's always been miserable. Like they're not smart at all. Oh, Reese, I see a question.
David, I just have one quick question before you get too much into ChatGPT.
Sure.
How up to date is it? Last I seen, it was up to like 2021. Is it more updated now, or do you know?
That's a great question. So you're correct. ChatGPT 3.5, which is the majority of like what you've seen in the news in the past few weeks, was trained on information that is 2021 and prior. But again, kind of back to my theme here of like, don't underestimate this stuff. Just because it wasn't aware of 2021 and before doesn't mean you can't feed in information from today, and it could digest it and react to information that you provide it. Also, the timing of this talk, Jay, is fantastic because ChatGPT 4, the next version of it, which is trained on more up-to-date data, I don't know the exact year, but it was just released yesterday. So what I'm showing you today, it actually even pales in comparison to what's possible with the version that was just released yesterday. Essentially, this thing is getting stronger, better, faster, smarter at a pace that I haven't seen technology move this quickly, and technology's been my entire life. So yeah, it's chatbots, the normal experience that I've had historically, terrible. I would rather just talk to someone on the phone than have to deal with those, so-called smart bots. ChatGPT, this is different. These are approaching, they're getting to the level of near human replacement type intelligence. So how smart are these bots? Well, they've passed the MBA program at one of the most prestigious schools in the country, Wharton. ChatGPT has passed the United States medical licensing exam. The version 3.5 that I was talking about before, it had passed components of the bar exam, but the version that they released yesterday morning, that is now gotten like 90 or 95% correct on the bar exam. So it's really incredible. And remember my Western Union example where I said, they failed to underestimate how quickly it can advance and how quickly it can be adopted. ChatGPT passed 1 million users in the first 5 days. So for context, that took Netflix nearly 4 years to get 1 million users. Facebook, one of the most viral applications we've ever seen, took 10 months to get 1 million users. So the adoption of ChatGPT is just an incredible hockey stick growth. And they've also attracted some pretty prominent investors About 2 months ago, Microsoft invested $10 billion into OpenAI, the company that's built these tools I'm showing you, valuing that company that I think started in 2018 at like $20 or $30 value, a $20 or $30 billion valuation. So it's wild. So how will realtors use this, right? At first, I feel that ChatGPT is best used as a muse. So say you're looking for inspiration. This could be for realtor associations or realtors or anyone. Say you're looking for inspiration for content and you need some quick starter ideas. ChatGPT is great for that. This is actually what I'll be showing as part of my live demo, just so you can see how quick and how effective it is. So say, yeah, you need outlines for a blog, no problem. You want to summarize that blog into a tweet or a Facebook message, ChatGPT's got your back. It can even help, and we're seeing this today. This is like one of the use cases people are latching onto. It can help with listing descriptions. So I've got an example of that. So yeah, I live in Somerville, Massachusetts, as I've been complaining about this whole time. I asked ChatGPT to write a listing description about a property on my street, and to give it a little bit more to work with, I added the context of, okay, this is a historical home. A lot of homes on my street are, but also that the home is in need of renovations. And I also added in some instructions. You can kind of tweak what you get back by telling it what tone you want it to write it in. Like you could say, yeah, write this in the tone of a realtor. You could also say, write this in the tone of a millennial influencer, and it will cater that content back. But for this example, we'll say tone of a realtor. So it does a decently good job with the starting point. I don't expect you to read all this, but I want to bring forward some of the highlights. So ChatGPT in the description says, oh, this home has a rich history and a character that is truly unique. It's full of potential and just waiting for the right buyer to bring it back to its former glory. Again, a historic home that needs renovations. And then the last one on this page is, this property is a diamond in the rough, perfect for a buyer looking for a project. So it's starting to like address some of the things that I provided it with. It continues on to say, it's explicitly saying it needs renovations, but with TLC, it'll shine. Then talks about the community, vibrant arts community, nightlife perfect for young professionals, and easy access to public transportation. And it even has a hard close, schedule a tour today to see what this property has to offer. Anyone notice anything interesting about this description? Well, I shared this at the Massachusetts Realtors about a few weeks ago, and they called this out. When it's talking about the community and it says the nightlife is perfect for young professionals, that violates Massachusetts fair housing laws. You're not able to say things like that in your advertising. So what I guess the main takeaway from this is, while ChatGPT is great as a muse and a starting point and for inspiration, it can't go unchecked. If you're using this type of tool, you need to make sure it's reviewed by a licensed professional and realtor. At this point, I'm going to risk it all. We're going to do a live demo, and so you can kind of see how quickly and how effective this tool is. So one second, I'm going to stop sharing, switch to another screen. Okay. So here I'll be using ChatGPT 5. I'm only doing that because I'm worried that ChatGPT 4, there's so much demand on it today because it's so new. ChatGPT 5 will work great for what we want to do. My idea for this was ask ChatGPT for 5 different blogs that a real estate agent in Orlando could write. You can all see my screen, hopefully. So I asked ChatGPT, like, I need inspiration, give me 5 blog topics that I could write. All right, top neighborhoods for families in Orlando. See, I'm worried about that one. Could that be a fair housing violation? I'm going to stay away from that one. 5 things to consider before buying a vacation home. That sounds nice. That's something I would be interested in. Latest trends in Orlando's luxury market. Let's do the vacation home. So we can now ask can you write a short blog outline for topic number 2? So it'll actually write your whole outline. So like an introduction, the importance of location, the importance of setting a budget, management, the importance of having a management plan for your vacation home for when you're not there, potential of rental income, how you're going to do maintenance and upkeep, and then it even gives you how to end your blog. Pretty amazing. Like if I know I'm a technologist and not a practitioner like you all are, but if I were to get into selling real estate, this type of thing, I'd be terrible at. Right? Like I'm a numbers guy, I'm an SEO, automation, techie. But when it came to writing like something creative that could attract potential buyers or potential clients, I wouldn't know where to start, and I would put it off I'm talking for months. It would take me to put something like this together. Maybe that's not the case for you, but if there are people in the audience who just kind of are looking for that little nudge forward in your marketing or your content creation, ChatGPT is amazing for it. So we got our idea for a blog. We have a blog outline. We could probably ask it to just write the whole blog for us. But right now I'm going to skip ahead and say, can you write a clever Facebook caption for this blog? So after it's written, we know how to market it. And we're going to ask it to include hashtags. Okay, so here is a possible Facebook caption, ready to escape to sunny Orlando. It even includes emojis. I didn't even ask it to. Before you buy that dream vacation home, make sure you consider these 5 important factors, more emojis, and then appropriate hashtags for that content. So, I mean, if I were a marketer, I would be very excited, maybe a little bit worried, but very excited about how I could use this to either streamline my process, to streamline my brainstorming, and kind of just think of it like a chunk of clay. Like it molded almost into what I want. Now I can just go in and tweak it to get my final product. ChatGPT is great for that. Switch screens one more time.
And David, once we've ended the Zoom, is there any way that you could email me the link so that I could send it out to the group?
Yeah, for the chat, the live chat. I can put it in the chat right now.
Yeah,
but yeah, I'll send it to you too.
thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay, so that's it for the live demo. I do have some other stuff that I've done in the past where how ChatGPT might be used against the industry, but that's I'm still formulating those opinions. But to recap, we will see massive implications in listing photo modification, renovation previews, and stock photo generations. This is the importance of the Realtor Code of Ethics has never been stronger, right? We need to make sure that this technology is used appropriately and not used in a way that can misrepresent or misrepresent a property for clients. So the image modification is going to be massive, right? There's already probably 10 or 20 startups out there that all they do is modify listing photos. Generative AI is going to have a massive impact on that side of the industry. I think what it'll do is it'll make the products better and cheaper, which is great for us. And then ChatGPT, while it's new, is going to be a complete game changer. But really what I think this technology means in the end and in the long run is that it emphasizes the importance of the relationship, right? Because if bots can write blogs and if bots could even make offers or something in the future, or bots could write listing descriptions, it could create a real spam problem, and it's also going to dilute authenticity. So I believe what you should be taking away from this is that these are tools that can help me with my business, while they might create some issues. Really what they do is they emphasize the importance of my relationship with my clients. And again, even though I was building sushi houses for corgis and making this thing act like a toy, please don't underestimate it, because I do think it'll have a massive impact on your business. So if this technology interests you, I'd love to continue the conversation. I've got my contact info here on the next slide. You can find me at dave.realestate. It connects you to my LinkedIn. And at this point, I'd love to entertain some questions from the audience. Has anyone seen this before? Have you heard of realtors in your market using it? Have you seen the headlines? Hi, Reese.
I have, and I actually started using it. I just, and it's actually amazing. I get this information you gave today is just icing on the cake. But yeah, it's definitely a game changer. But my question is, if you already have a version, do you have to download the new version or it'll update automatically?
It'll update automatically. So when you go to the website, there's a drop down and you can pick which version you want.
Okay.
They have different limits set. Like since the ChatGPT 4 just came out yesterday, you can only use it like 100 times a day, which should probably be enough for our use cases, but for some people that's not. But yeah, ChatGPT 3.5 alone, the previous version is mind-blowing enough. So yeah, I see some stuff in the chat.
Yeah, I used it to get some key points. I was trying to interview someone and I just had so much going on and I said, I need some questions. So I put that in and it gave me like 5 questions to ask. And I was like, wow, you know, I thought of a couple of them, but it's eye opener. It's definitely an eye opener.
It's funny you mentioned that. One of my friends is at a hackathon this week, and he's building a ChatGPT powered resume builder. So it'll connect to your LinkedIn, look at the companies that you work for, look at your job title, and will build a resume for you.
Oh, that's wow. That's good.
Yeah, it's really, really interesting. Yeah. Question: can ChatGPT use Spanish? Yes, it can. It's fluent in dozens of languages, and it can translate back and forth too. Is it compatible with Alexa? It's not out of the box, but the ChatGPT does have an API where if someone were to write an app for Alexa, it could certainly utilize ChatGPT. That's actually a great idea. Someone there in the audience should be working on that. Yeah, I've worked with the API. It's a delight to use. And kind of back to Reese's point before, it's only aware of like 2 years ago and prior, but that doesn't mean you couldn't say, hey, this is a live listing at this address and this property. Can you help me write an offer letter or something like that? It's pretty fantastic.
Dave, I just think I'm with you on that. It's just that, and I'm glad you mentioned it. We need to be very careful on making sure we're not crossing over on some things. I find it very useful because I'm an instructor. I find it very useful of explaining things different than what I've done by textbook version versus put it into human saying right now. The spoken word is different than the written word, and that's helped me out a lot on this as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've used it for more things than I should probably admit. Emails to HR that I was having trouble like formulating. I'm gonna get myself in trouble here. I asked it for help in writing a Valentine's Day card to my wife, and it's amazing. It can do everything. It can write code. If you've got a few moments today, I recommend you go out and play with it. I do believe that you can use it for your business, and even if you don't choose to implement it yourself, you need to be aware that there are people in your market who will be. And there are things to look out for with it. So no one tell my wife that, by the way. Okay, are there any more questions? How much does it cost? So that's another thing that's just really blown me away, is that it's fractions of pennies. Again, I was programming away with this thing on all weekend, trying to build some adversarial use cases of it. And I must have done like 2,000, 3,000 requests. I logged in, checked my bill, it was 30 cents. It's so ridiculously cheap. It's borderline free. I think borderline free. Someone in the audience looks like they're having issues getting it to work. It's probably because of the demand. There's like, if you look at any like technical news publication today, it's all about GPT-4. So there's likely a lot of demand. It was risky for me to even do a live demo considering how popular it is, because it has been plagued a little bit with downtime, just because, as I mentioned, a million users in the first 5 days, 100 million users in the first month. It's under a lot of demand. I think it's changing its name, Jarvis. Jarvis, I believe, that sounds very familiar. I think it was one of the code names that Microsoft was using for it. Bing AI, Bing, I know how many people use Bing search, but since Microsoft bought or invested in ChatGPT and OpenAI, this type of technology is now powering Bing search, which is interesting. You can search things like, how many bedrooms does 21 Boston Street in Somerville have, and it'll search the web, find that information, and report back to you like a real person or an agent would. Okay, well, I'm happy to share this material and any links. And again, I'll put my email address in the chat if you'd like to chat about it more, or if you have any questions on legitimate uses for your business. I'm here for you as a resource from the National Association.
Perfect. Thank you so much, David, for this valuable information today. Guys, if you would like, this recording will eventually be accessible via ORRA's YouTube platform. I will also be more than happy to share this with you as well after we've ended the session. And just as a reminder, we have the upcoming broker breakfast on April 4th, going over all things investing to become an investor-friendly broker. And just to save the date for May 18th for the another upcoming breakfast at Lou Gardens with Joanna Watkins and Jennifer from Stellar MLS. And also, for anyone that attended this meeting today, if you are a designated realtor or a broker associate, feel free to shoot me an email. I've already started receiving a few emails for complimentary Proud Broker merchandise. Those will be accessible to you. Just send me an email and I'll get that prepared for you. And lastly, the ORRA Expo is coming up April 26th and 27th. This will also include the awards luncheon. Feel free to purchase your tickets. If you need assistance with registering, feel free to reach out to me. If that's too much of a hassle to do, call me and I will get you registered for that. Just remember that it's no longer a separate event. So if you're wanting to attend either day, you would have to pay an all-inclusive fee of, I believe, $85. If you are a designated realtor, which means you're the qualifying broker of an office, you were automatically entered into a King and Queen contest, which any proceeds to that goes directly to the Orlando Regional Realtor Foundation. For more information on that, I know I explained it a little bit in the beginning. Feel free to reach out. I'll also be getting an email out to all of our brokers associates, and our office managers today regarding that information. So good luck to everyone if you enter the contest. And if you have any questions, David's information will also be placed in an email, as well as my information. I'm so thankful that you all joined. We would like to continue this, if not every month, then every other month, just to cover all components of real estate topics. So if there's a topic that you would like to see in the future sometime this year, this is a new initiative, so I'm more than happy to take suggestions and we'll get that put on the calendar for you all. So thank you so much for your time. David, thank you so much for your time today, and I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their week.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.